Out here with my buddy Spencer, going to play some poker. What? I thought this was a guitar channel. Oh, it is. We're gonna relate poker playing to guitar playing. There are similarities. Won't you come along?
The only other thing I've been doing, I think, as long as I've been playing guitar is playing poker. I picked up both hobbies around the same time in high school and they both stuck with me. A little personal history is this book, Super System, written by the great Doyle Brunson. Well, you may know about another super system, my app, Guitar Super System, directly influenced from this book. Obviously the subject matter is different, but that title I just always thought was great. This book actually contains amazing, valuable information about poker, just like I think my app does about guitar. And really, I'm gonna try and correlate poker and guitar. I found myself as I was playing cards using parts of my brain that felt similar to music. And maybe this is a little bit of a stretch, but hey, I had to make some content to justify this trip to Phoenix. Super System says art and science, playing great poker takes both. And I equate this a lot to using music theory and using your ear. Improvising using your ear, improvising, understanding what's gonna work. And I have sort of a hybrid approach. I do have an understanding of music theory, but as we've learned over and over,
theory is a tool. And like riding in a car, the tools are in the trunk. They're not in the passenger seat. I hope I never need the tools.
the way Doyle breaks down the strategies of cards, particularly Texas Holdem, my game of choice, well, it's very similar to using music theory in your guitar solos, for example. Like in this hand, I have Jack 10 of diamonds. The goal of Texas Holdem is to make the best 5-card hand using the 2 cards only you can see, your whole cards, and the 5 community cards that will eventually be dealt onto the table depending on how the subsequent rounds of bets go for this hand. So, like Mike Sexton says, poker takes a minute to learn and a lifetime to master. Now, a hand like this is advisable to play according to Doyle Brunson because it is in fact suited and can become part of a variety of good hands statistically. For example, an unsuited hand is sort of like a bad note or a bad interval. You may just need to have one little minor adjustment. Suited cards of the same value can feel like that perfect harmony. After a couple rounds of betting in this hand, I've made a flush, and that's really good for me. My goal now is to extract the most value from my opponent.
75? Trying to bluff me again?
Definitely not.
Just a little reverse psychology there, never hurt anybody. Oh, except it hurt this guy, because when the dealer asked a question,
Alright, I got flush.
the sweet chime of chips coming my way. And to do that, you sort of have to place them on a hand and understand what you would be willing to call, for example, if you had their hand. In music, you have to understand the harmony you're playing over, whether or not you're thinking about it as you play over it. It's helpful to know where you have a starting ground and a foundation. It can be as simple as anticipating a chord and having a lick that you know works over these chord changes. I like this major 7 arpeggio. I use it a lot for transitions to highlight that half-step interval pattern in the major scale. So it's just right here. And I'm basing it on that Locrian mode of the major scale in G major in this case. There's that half step that I'm trying to focus on. You can really go all the way. This is really nice over a chord change. Now, another terminology in poker is bluffing.
Trying to bluff me again?
You can't win a pot unless you bet. It doesn't always work out. I'm not really good at bluffing, and I think the best poker players are, but it is really fun to do. Being able to correctly read your opponent based on their betting patterns, etc., is sort of like having that extra knowledge of the harmony. Things could still not work out. You could play the lick incorrectly or something, but you generally have an idea what's coming. So whether or not the idea is actually any good, I have not really any hand right here, I just have a bluff. This idea, I didn't really finish it. I don't know if it was that good. It sounded good in its own simple form, so I consider that a cool little piece of music. Understanding that my opponent probably doesn't have much either, I can get out of here with a win. And bluffing, I think, can be equated to like effects in the guitar world. Some sort of disguise over your guitar tone to come up with something potentially awesome. Fuzz, for example. It's even cooler when the fuzz is like glow in the dark. Playing poker, it's really about playing your opponents almost more than the cards and telling a story with your hand. Guitar, the same thing goes for guitar solo. It's really about a story that you bring your listener into. You can take the approach of starting low on the guitar neck slowly and get high in some sort of climax, or you can just start at a place of middle ground and go down and up and around, or you can just be on 10 all the way. There's no right way to tell a story. Some are better than the others. In the end, enjoying your guitar, practicing, and getting better. You got that money in the bank. Thank you so much for watching and indulging my poker nerdery, and hopefully you learned some guitar things along the way. Until next time, keep shredding.
Is it all in here?
Doesn't matter, I fold the
I
card.
get you. You can hold the floor. I mean, I don't know what you want to happen. You're not going to win the pot,
It
but I get
doesn't
what
matter,
you're
I told
saying.
you you're not going to show that fucking card.
I will not show your effing cards.
I don't show
Done.
nobody
Done.
my
Okay.
cards, okay?
Done.
Straight.
Let's have a straight.